Total War 40k is coming. Finally, all the speculation can be put to rest and we can have a first glimpse of what has been drawing Creative Assembly's attention away from Total War Warhammer 3. Yesterday, the announcement finally came. Warhammer 40k Total War is on the way. We don't have a launch date yet, but I think they've been working on this for some time. I presume sometime in late 2026 or early 2027. Right, so firstly, let's get into the announcement that this is releasing on consoles. Look, I can understand a lot of people's concerns, but we have to remember that lots of strategy games release on console. Paradox games have released on consoles, for example, and they're extremely complex, so I wouldn't worry too much about this yet. It's very early, we don't have enough information to be worried. If they can release it on console and not compromise the vision and how Total War plays, then go ahead. More availability and platforms to play on is a good thing, but this game has to be considered with PC first. All of the current Total War audience are PC players. I'm sure that Creative Assembly know that, and they aren't going to strip out features. Obviously, I don't know that for certain, but I think it's too early to tell, so I'm going to be more focused on what we do know. So, from what I'm seeing in the gameplay footage here, there are basically 3 levels of gameplay, which I'm going to go through level by level with you right now. There's the battle view, which you see here. With battles, the Steam page reads that we're getting destructible environments which can create cover, so craters from big explosions will allow you to hunker down in them, sort of similar to Dawn of War, and it's cool that you can sort of tactically blow stuff up to make cover on the battlefield. But the battles we're familiar with. We know what's going on here. Then there's an orbital view of the planet, where you have ships and the like, which I'm intrigued by. If you look closely down to the bottom left here, you can see ships firing on one another. So I think we might be getting fleet combat. I think your ships also have a supporting role for your land forces. You can call in bombardments and reinforcements. How that sort of works on the battlefield, I don't know, but we saw an orbital bombardment being called down in the battlefield here, but they're meant to assist on the battlefield too. But just the potential of having fleet battles as well as land battles really opens up the scope of this game to me, so I'm very excited. Then if we zoom out even further, there's the galaxy view, which shows you all the planets, which is basically the equivalent of the campaign map. We only get a very cursory glance of this, it's only a few frames basically in the video, but if you pause you can see icons of the planets, probably indications of what resources these provide. A mining planet for this one, maybe this one is a hive city, and potentially these ones increase your campaign movement range. The compass indicates travel. So again, just guessing here, but that's probably what they are. They're the indicators of what these planets can provide for you in terms of utility in your campaign. Now, the UI here does look very basic. Obviously, it's pre-alpha, but we have 9 different menu buttons and the end turn button. Now, this is something which I've touched upon before in critiques of previous Total War titles. The UI is so important for gameplay experience in strategy games. When I'm looking at this UI, does it make me feel like I'm commanding an Astartes legion? The UI should be screaming you're playing as the Space Marines and you're about to purge some Xenos filth. This UI I'm seeing doesn't really achieve that for me. I hope it's a work in progress. Maybe a few more skulls and purity seals would probably help that out a lot, and the same goes with other races. If I'm playing as the Orcs, I want my UI to look orky. And if I'm playing as the Eldar, then, well, I'd never play the Eldar, really. I'm only joking. I'd want it to look kind of eldery, you know? Interestingly, it looks like Dawn of War's Army Painter is back on the menu. Yes, we can customize our factions. Excellent. Truthfully, it's not really something I care too much about in Dawn of War. I normally just use the preset colour schemes because I don't have an artistic bone in my body, but I know a lot of people will be thrilled with this. It also kind of calms my fears about paid cosmetic packs and things like that, so that's really cool. I like its addition. I'm honestly very excited to see how they kind of weave this all together. The new engine, Warhammer 40k Total War and Medieval 3, I'm just praying for a good launch for these. No doubt these are exciting times, and I'm cautiously optimistic for the future of Total War. It needs to be polished though. I'm not looking for perfect, I'm just looking for polished to a high standard. Say for example with the Tides of Torment and the recent DLC for Warhammer 3, I couldn't recommend people picking that up. And the reason for that is about 95% due to Warhammer 3 not being in the state of polish I'd expect of a 4-year-old game. Hopefully with a new fresh engine and Warscape being dumped out the window, Creative Assembly can start with a clean slate and really nail the launches of both of these two titles. I'm excited and optimistic. It's all on CA not to fuck it up. Anyway, I've been Blake delivering my take. Thank you all so much for watching.